The first time that I saw a coral on a reef was in Saudi Arabia in the 1980s, and I was a 20-year-old student at that time, and I was completely unprepared for what I saw when I dived for the first time into the sea. The coral was incredibly colorful and vibrant. It's the kind of intensity of experience that leaves you breathless with excitement. The beauty is tangible. So in that moment, when I first saw a reef, I decided that I had to become a marine scientist. That would be what I would dedicate my life to. Over time, though, the reefs that I fell in love with began to struggle. We've seen them beginning to decline. The corals have been dying, sometimes dying en masse as a result of huge warm water events that have spread around the world. The Future Climate Coral Bank project is really about finding the most effective way to protect the Maldives' future by creating resilient coral reefs. We're going to go out and map the state of coral reefs across the country. We want to find places where corals are doing particularly well, where they're still very healthy, and we'll also identify places where they're struggling. In the longer term, what we want to do is to build the Future Climate Coral Bank as a facility where we can bring resilient corals in. We can develop means of propagating them so that we can restore coral reefs around the country. And we can also undertake research to experiment with ways of accelerating coral evolution so more resilient corals are created that are better able to grow and sustain themselves as the climate changes. We will have scientists visiting from all over the world to undertake experiments at this facility and to work on ways of creating more resilient corals for the future. Philanthropy is interested in delivering effective outcomes, and so it's not about funding research which is of intellectual interest alone. We need to find solutions which are going to create real change in the water in terms of biodiversity protected and people's livelihoods protected into the future. There's far too much to do in the way of ocean protection for traditional sources of support for science to be able to fulfill all those needs. So it's absolutely vital that philanthropists step in and make a difference and add to the volume and intensity and quality of the research that's being done. If we never tried to protect coral reefs, if we decided that there was no hope for them right now, we would never know that it was possible to save them, and we would be failing future generations of people. So we must do what we can now. We must be optimistic about the future, and we hope that our efforts will pay off and that people will be enjoying coral reefs hundreds of years from now.